if being a highly sensitive person has been stopping you from creating the life that you desire, from bringing into reality the things that you desire to experience, slash manifesting the things that you desire to experience in life, the things that you want to experience in life. If you have been feeling that way, I am super happy that you are here, that you found this video, because as someone that has felt like a highly sensitive person, I don't like to use the term, but I, for many years, feel like it was too bad. I was broken from being very sensitive, and I felt trapped. I felt like I couldn't experience the life that I wanted because I was very emotional. And thanks to being a little stubborn, and thanks for also being a very curious person, I explored for many years, 5 to 6 years, I think it's been already, with many techniques, with many, I've been reading many books, I've been working with different coaches, I've been just trying to figure out how I can actually live a life that I enjoy and create the things and bring the things that I desire into reality without doing it the way that most people have done it, which is pushing, planning, controlling, competing. I want to say that probably it's fair to say that that's the way I tried to do life, and things just didn't work. So I knew there was something else. There was more in how we could experience life. I have shared in my other videos that I started my first business 2015, I think. It was an underwear brand. It was a big dream. I was working on this dream with my sister for many years, trying to create a beautiful product. And in that process, we can say, as many other people, I came to a place of feeling burnout. Like I wasn't enjoying it. And I came to a realization, like I envisioned having so much fun living this dream, and that's not how I'm feeling. So that's what I mean. I did it that way: the pushing, the trying, the competing, the controlling outcomes. And then I went into this journey for many years, especially during the pandemic. I went all in into learning manifestation. I want to give the little disclaimer, clarify. I know in the thumbnails of my videos it says manifestation is the way most people connect with this kind of information. I hope that soon we find other ways to relate to this beautiful process, because it has been used in many ways, and I feel like yeah, a lot of coaches, a lot of brands have created, products and services based on this beautiful concept. And I want to say that more than a concept, it's the ability that we all have, and it just doesn't feel good for me. So I feel like people read manifestation and then you understand what I'm gonna be talking about, but also I want to clarify that I'm going to be using another terminology in my videos, because it puts a lot of pressure. It makes most people feel like, okay, we are going to do something to get something. And to be honest, maybe it's important that I explain from now that that's not how it works. That's not the core intention of this. Recently, I've been sharing all these concepts with a beautiful group of people that are also learning about this concept, and I've been reflecting a lot about it. And what comes to my heart is that manifestation, it's just still very funny for me that it's something that later in life we learn how to do. But if you think about it, if you sit with this idea for a moment, since we are born, we are manifesting things into our lives. And kids are the greatest manifestators, if we can say that. I don't know if that word exists in English, but They're the greatest in manifesting things. And through experiences in life, we start believing that we have that ability, that we can actually do it. So you will see, you will learn, watching my videos. I am a fan of believing and reminding people that we all have different shapes. We are made of the same thing, but we all through life have different experiences. And something that probably is going to be helpful for you to start reflecting on from now, it's that we all, let's say, since we were little and we started having experiences that stopped us believing that we have the ability of manifesting, some of us still kept some of those skills that in some areas of our life. So you might look around in your group of friends, in your family members, and you can see that some people are just, whenever they think about, oh, I want to go on this trip, right away things just like fall into place. Or someone wants a new job and then right away they find it. Or someone wants a new boyfriend, a new partner, and right away things happen. So we all have this, we all have this area in our lives where it's just easy for us to trust that we can create. That's the word that I'm gonna be using in my videos, that we can create the things that we desire. That's a good idea, that we can start reflecting on what is that area in my life that I just feel like things come to me very easily. Another very good concept that you can start reflecting on is when in your life you have manifested things, created things. Let's start removing the manifestation word from these videos and hopefully from your life. So we remove that pressure, because it's just like, it makes you feel like when you are working on your thesis to graduate from high school, from college, it's like that big process that you have to do, when it's just like natural to being a human. We all have it. So little examples that I can share, it's moments where we wanted to surprise someone. Those are the ones that we all have them in our hearts. It's an easy one to connect with. Remember those times where you wanted to surprise your sisters, your friends, and you prepared a birthday party, a surprise birthday party. Remember all the steps that you did during that process. You created, and let's say those experiences where everything turned out magically and the person felt like so loved and the way you wanted that person to feel when you created that experience. We have when we, experiences are an easy one. When we go on trips, all the steps and all the magic you experience in the trip, right? Like, think of examples like that and start connecting with the energy, how it felt. And that's what it's just, it's not more complicated than that. Of course, I'm going to describe steps by steps, and you can save these videos and come back and to review the information. But it's as simple as that. Of course, there are bigger things that we want. A birthday party, a surprise birthday party, probably. It's very different than finding a new partner or moving to a different country, right? There are different things. And I want to say, as I said earlier, like, that could be very easy for some people, maybe a little bit more challenging for other people. But I just want you to start getting familiar with the energies and how we all have done it already, how it is already part of our nature. In my first video that I'm gonna be linking here so you can go and watch it, I talk about how manifestation also, it's a process of, we can see it as simple as the process of creating new habits and creating change in your life. When we are creating new habits, we are changing. We are changing the way we have been eating. If we want to lose some weight, We are changing the way we have been partying, celebrating with our friends. If we want to stop drinking, we are creating change. We're making new choices. And it's as simple as that. The more we get used to these things, to create change, to create new habits, the easier the process of creating the lives we desire becomes. Now, when we are talking about highly sensitive people, that again, it's another term that I use it just because, it's, you probably understand right away, what kind of people I'm referring to. But that's just a label that I don't like at all. And there are just a whole spectrum, and different levels of how deep we can experience emotions. I like to remind people, I have a bunch of other videos talking about, being a highly sensitive person. That the word without people that feel deeply emotions would be so plain and so boring. So just have a few seconds to, I know probably you are at a place where you are like, this is a part of my personality that is challenging, so probably trying to see the positive side might be a little, difficult, but the word would be so plain if we didn't exist. And the power we have, the ability of feeling so deeply, it's beautiful. We just need to learn how to manage that, how to master our emotions. And also, it's not a science. It's something that we all can learn how to do. We all can learn how to master. And again, as someone that has been extremely sensitive my whole life, and even still I have moments where I have very deep peaks of intense emotions, but I continue getting better and better at understanding, at holding the space for what it is, for that part of who I am, and to navigate life with being like that. And something that's coming to my mind right now is like, I feel like part of my process, and probably you can relate with this, like I still feel like we still name ourselves as highly sensitive people. We still think we are too emotional just because society has told us that, and just because it is in society, it is normal and it's the ideal to be a rational person, to not feel so much. You probably agree with me. We see the crisis that we're experiencing in, don't want to go into different subjects, but in dating, in how men are recently opening up to express their emotions. That has to do a lot with the same freaking idea and concept, that we normalize the rational thinking, the rational way of being, which is so precious, so important. We wouldn't be where we are if we didn't have that. We just need everything, right? So I'm just saying all these things for you to feel that is so precious who you are, and it's so needed to encourage you to explore, to love deeply who you are. And the more we accept who we are, the more we love who we are, the more we normalize who we are, and the more we learn how to flow with our emotions. So this video is gonna be especially for how can we work with our emotions to start creating the lives we desire. I feel like in my process, as I shared, I went in many different places, which is wonderful. But one of my motivations, my inspiration to create this series and to talk about this subject is that I think people don't have to do everything I did. I already see a couple of if we can say, shortcuts, especially for emotional people, highly sensitive people, people that are very emotional, that feel life very deeply. And there are multiple books, there are multiple coaches, there are multiple ways how we can work with our emotions. I'm going to share what has worked the best for me. But I also, as I always share in my videos, I encourage you to, yes, if you feel inspired by what I'm sharing, that's wonderful. That's my whole goal here. But also listen, and especially emotional people, we have massive ability to, we are very intuitive. We are connected with other things, very connected with our senses. So I encourage you to listen to that inner guidance, to your intuition. If maybe you want to explore something else, if you want to make a mix of what I'm sharing here and other people that you find. So feel for you. The most important thing always in life, it's probably the best advice I can give to anyone, especially when we go through transformations. Yes, feel inspired by others, but always create your own version, your own ideas, your own perspective of things. So I am going to be talking about especially two ways how I started understanding so much my emotions. And again, as I said, in understanding, accepting is what I think is the key here, accepting our emotions and navigating life with them. The first one, it wouldn't be fair for me to be talking about all these beautiful subject without sharing, and I shared this already in many of my videos, that astrology was the first tool, the first way how I started feeling a lot of validation for who I was, understanding that I heard my whole life Pisces are crying babies, are too sensitive. But the moment I listened to a podcast, and maybe I can recommend, the people that I've been following for a while, a podcast where it was the first time during the pandemic that I heard that I was pretty new to astrology, to be honest. I knew my mom, had a chart for my sister and I growing up, and the chart could tell everything what was going to happen in my life. Didn't pay that much attention. I think I just had that bad relationship with, they would only say, I will hear everywhere I would go that Pisces were just too sensitive. So for me, listening to this podcast during the pandemic, it was very transformative. It gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me the confidence not only to accept who I was, to allow myself to express my nature, the essence of who I was, but also helped me so much to understand others. And there's this beauty in when we start understanding also others, because we start seeing ourselves in others from a more compassionate place, instead of saying, okay, I don't like this about this person, I don't like that about this person. I feel like astrology gave me that. It gave me, and especially what I'm going to explain about this podcast. These podcasts focused in each of the signs. It was a very basic, I would say, very basic podcast about astrology, but it was just like very illuminating. The first time that I heard that there was, like, let's say, like a high vibration side of each energy, each sign, and a low vibration side of each sign. So if you think about that, we all have our good qualities and some qualities that are a little bit more challenging, right? So getting curious, that was, the beginning for me into this space of astrology. And just seeing how those energies were presented in my life and paying attention how they present in other people, I just started understanding so much about, especially like what are the forces that, if we speak in the language of astrology, the forces that rule me, So there's some fire, there's some water, there's some earth. What are the needs of those energies? So that started giving a lot of meaning. Oh, That's why I get frustrated in this kind of situation. That's why it's so hard for me to do these kind of things. It kind of like put into words things that I felt my whole life, but I just didn't know how to express. It was just very easy for me once I understood the qualities of each energy, the high vibrations and low vibrations. It just, yeah, as I said, like it transformed completely the way I would relate to my emotions. I started understanding so much why I feel in the way I was feeling. One thing that is very important, not only for astrology, for anything we do in life, it's to always connect with our inner dimmer. When we, it's like I'm saying this in this video, and I'm also saying this to myself because I can get a little too passionate, I can get a little intense with new information. I obsess about subjects, and astrology is very beautiful. As I said, it can be extremely helpful, but it's massive, it's so big. So it's almost like we can just, in a way, spend just so much time learning about astrology. So I would say, like, find your dimmer in how you relate, with astrology and these subjects, because we can just give so much power to these things, and we need to remember that we are not only astrology, we are humans, and astrology can be a guide, can be that blueprint, can be that map that can show us, in which ways we can go and what things mean. So yeah, that's a little recommendation that I wish I had when I started, learning about all these subjects and I started using these subjects. The next thing that I want to recommend, the next tool that it was extremely illuminating also, especially because it came to my life later after doing a lot of self-development work, working with coaches, a psychologist, neuroscientist, for a while. When I received this book, I was like, oh my god, this is just like a summarize of all these 6 years that I've been investing in self-development and psychology. So what I appreciate about this book is that even the author, he recommends or he talks about other books. So it feels that reading is very easy. It feels almost like a summarize from many things in self-development, the basic ones the most helpful ones. It's just like very practical. It goes straight to, to the point, like what's the issue, where it comes from, and how we can work with it, in one same book. It's also, I want to say, I connected deeply with this book because it's coming from, working with astrology, understanding personalities in astrology, from that place of compassion, of expansion, because astrology can be that, astrology is a very beautiful space where it can be used that way to feel connected with life, with everyone, and with yourself, of course. Coming from that place, this book felt like just something to complement my exploration with astrology. It's a very compassionate way of looking at humans. 5 personality patterns. And just to explain a little bit about what the book is about and what patterns are. So something that it's just, I don't know, it's so fascinating about the way the book explains these concepts, is that it's not focusing on what we have seen in so many other personality tests. Like astrology can be a little like that, like it can be used to describe the personality of someone. And you probably have seen, like, whenever you talk about signs, you ask people about their signs, there's sometimes like this tension because people don't want to be put in a box, right? And the same happens with these many other personality tests that I don't even remember the name, but there's human design, and I think 7 personalities or 11 personalities, and you know what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of them, but I think I always felt that energy of, gosh, yeah, we are definitely putting ourselves in boxes and putting other in boxes. I feel like astrology for me and human design and the gene keys are the ones that are a little bit more flexible. The other ones is like, you're this and that's it. But when we talk about energy, it's like energy, we can describe energy in many ways. And each astrologist or human design reader or Gene Keys reader have a different interpretation. So there's like a little bit more of freedom and flexibility in these ways of describing personalities. But the other ones, definitely you feel like, okay, I'm only this. And it's just like it doesn't feel good. So that's something that I appreciated so much about this book. It's not saying this is your personality. It's saying this is the pattern of your personality. Is that what I want to say? These are the patterns that we develop. Let's put it that way. These are the patterns we develop in our personalities, but that doesn't mean it's your personality, right? We might be through our lives in different parts of the spectrum of that pattern. And the beauty of the book is that it teaches you how to work with the pattern, how to repair the pattern. So it's just very empowering. And yeah, there are 5 patterns. Usually most people, we have a little bit of each, but we tend to respond in life, especially with 2. And just to go back in what that means, what having a personality pattern means. So when we are little, we develop these survival mechanisms, right? When we are not getting our needs met, we all have different experiences. And this is the thing, like my whole intention with the way I'm explaining how to create the lives we desire, simplified, it's because after the many years that I have spent in psychology and self-development, like, believe me, it's so easy to think that we have to do healing, and we have to do so many things in order to create the lives we desire, and that's just not true. In the process, there are always things that are going to come up, and we can just work in that moment with those things without having to do, like all the inner child healing and all the, shadow work, and is to find the very long list of, what's the name? The limited beliefs that are stopping you. That's just like, if you feel called to go that road, I did it. You can do it too. I just don't think after doing all these many years of that kind of work that it's necessary. So this book really, it's like a recap of all that work, but it's just like in a very beautiful way. One of the things that are coming to my mind that really impacted me from this reading, from this book, is that even it's like includes this explanation that it's very connected with the process of creating the lives we desire, that we chose this life. We chose experiences we have gone through. It's just like after you read the book, you come to a place of a lot of peace and acceptance. Like, sure, these are the ingredients, these are the materials I was given in this life. And I have what it takes, because the patterns, the beauty of how the author explains the patterns is that, sure, there are, like, let's say, the negative sides, similar to astrology. There's the negative sides and there are the gifts, right? So it's almost like we have these 2 tools, these 2 ingredients to create the lives we desire. So it's just very empowering. After you read it, everything in your past, in your life, starts making a lot of sense. Because I feel like in the self-development, there's so much room for guilt and blame, and you finding the right coach, finding the right program. It can be very overwhelming. So in one same book, you can do many years of self-development. One recommendation, if you are going to read the book, as I said with astrology, I think it's very important to bring this awareness of the dimmer. I took breaks. I took breaks from reading the book. I selected in a specific time of the day where I wanted to read the book, because obviously we are digging, we are going inside to see the things that are not easy about ourselves, probably things that we haven't seen, that we are afraid to see. So the way I did it, I encourage you, I invite you to find, something that feels good for you as well, the way that you would like to do it. But I went on walks in the morning in the park, the forest. And I would do like a couple of chapters per day, something like that. And there was a moment where I was a little like, whoo, this is a bunch of information. Let's just take a little break. And I did, probably a couple of weeks, and I came back and I took my notes and I started, paying attention, because that's the beauty. You also right away, once you understand your patterns, you start seeing how you're still playing the pattern, playing out the pattern in your life, how others play the pattern. And I think he emphasizes also in this idea that, which is again like so compassionate and so beautiful, that one of the ideas of the book is also to create better relationships with others, right? And once you start seeing that the other person might be running from a pattern, you just have so much love and you don't want to push, and you just want to give them a space or probably do something that help them to, get out of the pattern. It's honestly a good read. So these are my recommendations, like a pre-work, pre-preparation, with the first video too, where I was talking about the habits, things that you can start reflecting on while you do the reading, while you do a little bit of the astrology exploration. If you feel called, it's like it's not a requirement to do these two things. These are the two things that I was fascinated about, that I explored and gave me a lot of tools and guidance. You can combine both, you can do just one. And maybe you're already a little familiar, with astrology. If that's the case, you're going to enjoy so much the book. So I'm very excited if that's the case. I also want to emphasize that you do you. From my heart, as I said earlier, these are the things that have worked for me. If you feel like I'm good, probably it's not necessary for me to use these tools of the book and astrology. Amazing. If you're ready to, maybe you have developed a lot of self-awareness and a great relationship with your emotions, I think these two tools, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, are especially for people that are coming from a place of feeling like, oh my God, I'm too emotional, I'm too highly sensitive, and I don't think I can create anything in my life. If you're coming from that place, these two tools will help you so much, and I will be super happy and excited to hear from you if you use them, if you apply these steps. Let me know how it goes. For now, I think this is all I wanted to share today. If you would like to continue watching all these steps, I suggest that you subscribe, follow, do the thing, so you get notified when there's a new video, so you don't miss any of the steps. For now, thank you so much for being here. Super excited that you are joining this journey. I cannot wait to hear how it goes for you, and to continue sharing all these amazing steps to create the life that we desire. So much peace and love.